Oh, this is Gloria Steinem again. She wasn't old as hell now. This is Gloria Steinem, another black fifth sister, Dorothy. This is what we're going to talk about, Gloria Steinem being the face of the feminist movement. Now we're going to talk about her specifically and what was her role in destroying black women and destroying the black household. Gloria Steinem first came across the radar of black men in 1978. And Steinem put a book called The Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman on the cover of Miss Magazine. Miss Magazine was totally funded by the CIA and created by the CIA.
Right.
At one point, Gloria Steinem, you know how in most magazines you'll see, not commercial, but you'll see ads in the magazines? This magazine did not have to have any ads. Because the ads in the magazine would provide funding for the magazine to be produced. But because the CIA was paying for everything up front, she didn't need no funding. She didn't need no ads. So her magazines was ad-free. And it says, the book was written by a black feminist and activist named Michelle Wallace, who came out of nowhere because she was only 21 years old. And she wrote this book called The Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman. Wallace was in her early 20s at the time, yet she was being touted as a leader of black feminism. Who was she being touted by? The so-called white man. When y'all see the white man parade a brother or a sister as a leader, you should run from them. Right. They parade anybody black. You want an example? Barack Obama.
Right. That's right.
Who knew of Barack Obama like that before the white man put him up for presidency? But everybody loved Barack. They was calling him Jesus Christ in the flesh. Right. And he was going to come and free black people. And all he did was open up homosexuality, transgenders, and more Planned Parenthood clinics. He didn't have one single thing productive. I know most people like to tell me health care. But when he was going for office, he didn't say, I'm going to bring health care to black people. He said, I'm going to liberate black people. I'm going to do this for black people. He was going to be the voice, but he never was the voice. Matter of fact, I think it wasn't about every 3 months, 4 months, it was a black person being killed, and he did nothing and said nothing about it. Right. When them kids died in Connecticut, he cared about that. Not only did he care about it, black people cared about that. Victor Cruz putting on his sneakers, that's why he tore his damn knee up. Putting on his damn sneakers and everything. That's why he tore his knee up. Anyway, in the book, Wallace called abolitionists like Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth ugly and stupid for supporting black men. Black men. That's what this book was. The book said that Harriet Tubman, who some called a general for her generalship, for her leadership in freeing black men, Sojourner Truth, another strong sister, called them stupid and ugly for supporting black men. She called black revolutionaries chauvinistic macho pigs and advised black women to go it along. How could you call, like if you think about at this time in the 70s, you think about the Muslims for, Malcolm X and the Muslims and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about their ideologies right now. I'm just talking about them as black men, all right? So you take the Nation of Islam and those brothers, you take the Black Panthers and those brothers, what were they fighting for? They were fighting for the black household. Whether I agree with their ideologies or not, in their sense of authority, they were fighting for the black woman. They were fighting for the black man. That's why they're calling them revolutionaries. And who's calling them revolutionaries? The white man, because they're trying to change from their system of government. But this black woman said that black revolutionaries were chauvinistic pigs and advised black women to go it alone. So who was going to protect them? Who's going to protect black women? We done already showed you they put black women in the third position. White women first, white men second, black women third. They got rid of the black man. Gloria Steinem said that Wallace's book would define the future of black relationships. Did she not tell the truth? Black women been going at it alone for the last 40 years. Been going at it alone. And how has that worked? And then when we start charging black women for taking ownership for going at it alone, they get offended. But it's better to say, you know what? I was wrong for going at it alone. I need that man to come back in the house. Can you please come back in my house? Calling you, emailing you. Can you please come back in my house and fix it? All right? Excuse me. And she pushed hard to make sure the book received massive publicity. Give me the next slide. Gloria Steinem's work triggered a flood of hate black men books and films that continue to this day. I mentioned Color Purple. I've never seen Color Purple all the way through. I've seen like bits and pieces of it. Like the guy that's trying to tell you something part, I remember that. I remember when Whoopi Goldberg, the kids, I think, was in the field or something like that. I don't really remember much about the movie. I know that the father raped his daughter and then gave her to Danny Glover. That's the start of what imagery they start putting on the black man in the media. And then I already told y'all about 4 Color Girls. And here's another part. Waiting to Exhale. Anybody seen that? Waiting to Exhale. Waiting to Exhale. It start off with the brother leaving her for a white woman. And then Angela Bassett, she meet Wesley Snipes, the king of dating white women. You meet Wesley Snipes in the hotel, and who he got? A white woman. Then you got the sister, Whitney Houston, dealing with a married man. So, of course, women look at him like he's disgusted. Then you got the other sister that's dealing with 2 men. One of them is an alcoholic. Remember, he was outside the house, talking about why you ain't going with me. Then the other one dissing her and leaving her. And then you had the one with the son. Right? And the part that's the part I want to bring out. At the end of that movie, and I happened to see this as I was leaving my house today. At the end of that movie, the mother was talking to Gregory Hines, which Gregory Hines didn't play a homo in the movie. He's a homo out. Right? So that's even worse. So there ain't no black man to look at. There ain't no black man to look at. So if you're looking at Gregory, he's playing an out-of-body experience right now. So, but the sister says something real heavy, which we're going to get into a little bit later. She said, I was wrong for keeping my son Tyree from traveling because I was looking at Tyree as more than just a son. He became like my man, not in a sexual way, but he became my man. So I started treating him like my date and so forth like that. Because black women, again, you wanted to be free, but you really didn't want to be free. You needed that manly presence in the house. So you would try to keep a man around. So who would you keep? Your son. That's why they would call them what? Mama's boys. Because you would then develop a relationship with him. That's another part of the miseducation. I'm sorry. The so-called black feminist movement was created and manipulated by the CIA from the very beginning. We always speak of the infiltration. I kind of jumped it. We always speak of the infiltration of the civil rights movement, the FOI, the Black Panthers, among others. But black feminists are still unwilling to admit that they were infiltrated and manipulated to destroy the black man and the black household. The result of hate black men movement has become more than just a political point of view. It is now a central part of culture of black women. And this fact has led to the complete distortion of black relationships, and the CIA had a direct hand in handling that. I was listening to I'm Independent by Salt-N-Pepa. I'm a little older, that's in the 80s. In the song, it said, I'll wear the pants, you wear the dress. That's what Salt-N-Pepa was saying. That's all that you would see all throughout. Even light-skinned women and dark-skinned women. School Days. School Days, great movie, right? School Days, great movie. Until you see the sisters with the natural hair and the sisters with the good hair, now what are they teaching us too? Fighting each other over that. What the hell does your hair have to do with anything? If a sister got good hair, let her have it. If a sister want to go natural, let her have it. Now, y'all realize what we fighting over? I ain't never seen a redhead white person and a blonde white person fight over their goddamn hair. I ain't seen it yet. Right. But we, us, black folks, we fight over everything. Let a bunch of tall people come here. And the short man in here, he would hate them just to get tall. This is Job, the 39th chapter, the 16th verse. It says, she is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers. These scriptures that we read in the Bible are very important because they're all learning. It's like history. It's like a culture. Huh? No, it's not. It's not. Job 39:6 says, she is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. Verse 17, it says, because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted in her understanding. What time she lifted herself up on high, or I.S.U.P.K can't lift herself up on high. What time she lifted herself up on high, she scorned the horse and his rider. who's the horse? Who's the rider of the horse? The rider of the horse synonymous is the who's pulling the trail, who's pulling the wagon. That would be the brother. That would be the black man. So when it says she scorns the horse and the rider, it's talking about her tearing it down with the wisdom that she learned from that feminist movement that totally destroyed her. When you read Job, the 39th chapter, the ostrich is used as a metaphor. Give me the next slide. Say again. No, but I didn't want you to think it was that he was talking about a literal ostrich at that point. It was just a metaphor. Can they play that? Now I'm gonna show us what's called. Now I'm gonna play this. This is in the 80s. And I'm just showing you how once that feminist movement came in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 90s, we're going to go through some statistics. We're going to go through this video here and show, was it better when we were separated or was it better when we were together? Okay, everybody with me? Go ahead.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you...
This is in the 80s. They got these black women here. Go ahead.
Like to be married to your baby's father. One.
I don't want to be married to their baby's father. They just asked, do y'all want to be married to your baby's father? I said, no.
The rest of you don't plan to get married. Why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then you have a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility. And then you don't want the commitments.
I don't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so, you know, it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
You see that? That's in the 80s, so that's like 10 years removed from the lesbian movement. Our young, those are all teenagers. And now they're taught they don't need a man. You see how she said the male figure ain't been in the house? Because he's been removed from the house. And now that he's been removed in the house, that affects the social structure and the social way of thinking of our young black children. Whereas if the black household was together, there's a structure and an order. This is Titus 2 and 3. It says the aged women likewise. Our aged women today, not everybody, of course, I'm talking as a whole, they don't raise our children the way that they're supposed to be raised. They don't raise their household the way that they're supposed to be raised. It says the aged women likewise, that they behavior is becoming holiness. The word holy means separate. It's not magic or anything like that. The word holy just means separate. So what does that mean? You're supposed to be separate from every outside influence except God's. Except the Most High's, you're not supposed to have anything. It says not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. Like I said, women do teach. Women can teach men. Women can. When I'm saying men, I'm not talking about in the spiritual sense, but things that they may not know. They can teach their children. They can teach their younger sisters. They can teach their younger grandchildren, etc. That they may teach the young women to be sober, not in an alcoholic way, but sober meaning clear-minded, meaning level-headed. How to deal with things as you get older because they have the experience of living a certain way. But being that our age women are not living that certain way, now you get the trickle-down effect. That's why you got so many teenage pregnancies and they don't know what to do. To love their husbands. This should be underlined and capitalized. I should have underlined and capitalized that. Right. To love their husbands. And let me tell you something. Right. You let that man go inside of you, that is your husband. That's right. He goes inside. Right. That is marriage. You can't let multiple men go inside of you and then say, okay, now I'm going to go to the white man, get his permission. Now I'm really married. Right. You realize that? The greatest treasure the black woman got is your body. Just like the greatest treasure the black man got is his body. So now you're going to give your body to 5 different men, but it's the only one that you got the permission from the white man to marry is the one that you consider your husband. That don't make no damn sense. And to love their children. If you kick your man out the house, you don't really love your children. Right. You put your man on child support, you don't really love your children. That's right. You make your man suffer. And this goes for men too, but we're talking about the woman today. All right, so I don't want nobody to say, well, the man got to do this or nothing. I understand. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Today is just the woman. If you do any of them things, you do not love your children. And nobody can tell me that child support is necessary because I lived it. I lived it. Nobody can tell me that, right, Mama? My mama raised 3 kids. 3. My father was a drug addict. He was in and out the house, right? My mother never put him on child support. I've never heard my mother utter an evil word about my father.
That's
my
right.
Whole entire life. You know what that taught me? You know what that taught me? When I got older, I was able to forgive my father. Because I said, if I felt that my father offended my mother that way, and my mother forgave him, and I never heard her utter, how could I hold that anger? Because she said, you know what she said? She said he was already suffering enough with the drug addiction. Why would I put the white man's system on top of him too?
Right.
Now, me and my father was able to develop a great relationship. Now, if she was the opposite, put him on child support, calling the police on him, I may not have had the relationship that I had with my father. And then if I was ever cutting up, she would find my father wherever he was at, and she would bring him back. And you know why I would listen to my father? Because my mother reverenced him even in his low state. Right. Right. Even in his low state, she reverenced. Right. And black women need to learn that. So you can't tell me to reach out to you. Right. Verse 5, to be discreet. I mean, what it means to be discreet, meaning don't run your mouth to everybody. Everybody don't need to know in your business or be in your business, especially like that. Chase keepers at home, good, obedient to their husbands. Right. Love your husbands, obedient to your husbands. Right. You should listen to that man. It says that the word of the Most High is not blasphemed. So when you do the opposite of these things, you're blaspheming the Most High. Because he created you to be with your man. Just like he created the man to be with his woman. There ain't nothing more natural than a man being with a woman. Ain't nothing more natural. The confusion comes when you put the white man. He damn near ain't even a man. Right. Damn beast. That's the confusion. When you put him in there, like if you take the black man on one side and the black woman on one side, the great divide is everything. White supremacy, feminist movement, abortion, drugs, murder, all of that. And all that comes from the white man. We take that divide out, then the black man and black woman come together. Everybody got it? Next slide. It's another thing we learned, right? This here is what a woman decided to do to her son. Can you imagine what the father thought when he saw that? Now, I didn't want to bring too much, like I said. And then this one here, my man Corey Holcomb is another one of my heroes. I like Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb saw this picture. Now, remember, I told y'all, women turn their boys into their boyfriends. This is, now he got clothes on, but she's butt naked. What is she teaching her son? Let me tell you, black women, something. If you walking around your house naked, around your kids, you should stop that shit. That's right. You should not let the first titties and ass your son see be yours. Because you're psychologically damaging him. That should not be the first titties and ass that you see. That's what this boy learned. And then Corey Holcomb said something that was the truth. He said, this is a part of what's wrong with black America. These whores, I'm saying it because he said it on here. I don't normally talk like this. I don't normally talk like this, but I got to read the slide. It's on the slide. Mama, it's on the slide. This is a part of what's wrong with black America. These whores want their sons to be bitches, fucking disgusting. Straight clown. Now, who approves this?
Who is that?
This is some. Now, well, give me the next clip. Now, Corey Holcomb had the opportunity to speak on TMZ because they had to hype this about it. Now, I shortened it just for time's sake, so I shortened it just a little bit. So play it, please.
Corey's joining us right now. Corey, thanks for joining us on TMZ Live.
When I watch this clip, his face is so funny to me. All right, so if I laugh, I don't mean to laugh. Being that he's a comedian, it's kind of funny to me. But
were you attempting to make a joke, or was this like I just don't? It's a pretty harsh comment.
Look at the white dog. Hold on. Can you bring it back? Let's look at this white dog. Pay attention to this white dog the whole time. Just watch your face. I see frowning. Getting all red. I hate white people. That's right.
Corey's joining us right now. Corey, thanks for joining us on TMZ Live. Were you attempting to make a joke, or was this like I just don't? It's a pretty harsh comment.
You see the white woman?
It had joke tendencies in it, but whenever you got a young kid, looks like he's about 5, 6, 7, 8, and he's laying on top of his mom, I think that's pedophile behavior. Because I know if a man had a picture of him like that, when he was naked holding his son like that, they'd be knocking on his door arrested. She's probably just a little internet girl, and this is her claim to fame because a lot.
Because that's another thing that is teaching us. Now, the first thing he said, that's pedophile behavior. If that was a man that put that picture up, you would say he's sexing that boy. Right. Period. You would be saying, they would have the police at his door. He wouldn't be on TMZ. He'd be on CNN. It wouldn't be entertainment news. It would be national of that. You understand?
Some people who I know saw that picture and they felt the way I felt. So a lot of people who don't feel like the picture is offensive, you know, that goes to show it's two different sides to this world. But that picture looks like a naked woman who has her son who's too old to be sitting on top of her naked. And
But your tweet said that what was wrong with Black America is they want their sons to be bitches, which is almost insinuating that there's something effeminate about what the kid is doing. I don't understand what you're saying here sounds different than the tweet.
Yeah, so what, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to understand, but what I'm saying is,
you said, Jerry, what you said, I wouldn't expect you to understand that. That's real talk. Because white people as a nation have no compassion for black people. I'm going to take it a step further. White people have no compassion except for their own. They accept us to love what they love, hate what they hate. They cannot see how disgusting that is. And then they'll sleep with their kids anyway.
I understand. I'm a smart person. I can listen to you and understand.
okay, I'll take your word for it, but what I'm saying is, in Black America, there's not a lot of fathers at home. So these kids grow up, and their moms do things like that to them, and in my opinion, that sends them off into the world lost, just like their mom. You're saying that he's in your words, he's a bitch because...
You see what he said? He said that sends them into a lost world. And then he said something heavy, which is what they are. Because they remove, like a black woman will deal with a man long enough to have a baby, but won't let their father raise him. And then when you see all these effeminate men out here, don't want to take the responsibility of what they created. Black women created these men. Like that picture right there, if that brother grows up and he's a homosexual, you can only point right to that picture. You know what America would say? Father wasn't around. I guarantee you she removed that father out of that equation. And that's what we're not willing to face in 2017. How does that play?
He has a close relationship with his mother. What I'm saying is, I'm sure a lot of people will find that picture inappropriate, but because she's the woman and the double standard is applying right now, I'm the bad guy to say it was obvious. Because I don't think, there's no place for that picture. What do you send that picture to? Send that picture to the grandma. I bet the grandma had a heart attack.
Right. You gonna send that picture to grandma? Grandma ain't gonna like. Can I send that picture to you? Hell no. Like, why you send that to me? Give me the next slide, please. I ain't gonna keep you out much longer. In 1950, now we're gonna go to some statistics. So, because again, the liberation movement, they had to be free from black men. But this again don't make no sense because we ain't been like black men have really not had the chance to run a household free from white oppression since we've been in America. The little experiment, when we was able to build Black Wall Street, whatever, that threatened America. When they saw what black men were able to do, because remember, we were supposed to be uneducated at that time. We couldn't read, we couldn't write, but we built everything. And another misnomer is stop calling black men lazy, please. Black men built America. I'm sorry. Built all of America that was built off of black men. Yes, right. All right. So now, in 1950, 72% of all black men and 81% of all black women had been married. What do we have to be liberated from? We was married in the house together, so now you got to think about the psychosis of the white man. Not even the psychosis of the black woman and the black man at this time, because we knew what was right. We knew it was better to be together. Every census from 1890 to 1950 showed that black labor force participation rates were higher than those of whites, prior to the 60s, the unemployment rate for blacks was 16 to 17 was under 10%. I'm bringing out all these statistics to show what happened after the 60s. Like the 60s was like a pinnacle year. Like Shahrazad Ali said, in the beginning of the civil rights, when they were separated from the black man, separated from the white man, you seeing opportunities of us growing and getting better and bigger. As soon as we start joining the white man, who's the most famous joiner of white man? Who knows? Martin Luther King. I know that hurt some people hard, especially to the core, but he was the death of black people.
That's right.
He joined us to the white man at an unforgivable level. He joined us to the white man in the sense of no matter what the white man does to you, you got to forgive him and let it go. You got to be nonviolent. So that's why I'm saying the 60s was that pinnacle. And then to show you the white man's appreciation, he killed that nigga. I said it like that on purpose. He killed him. He killed him to show his appreciation. So now, before 1960, the number of teenage pregnancies had been decreasing. Both poverty and dependency were declining. So at a time when black people was really coming out of their hellish condition, at that time, in the 60s, black income was rising in both absolute and relative terms to white income. You think the white man wasn't paying attention to that? All that black revolutionary was making black households come together and stay together and deal only in blacks. Now, in 1965, 76.4% of black children were born to married women, meaning they wasn't set. And this type of marriage is the paperwork marriage. Nowadays say y'all Israelites call it marriage, but this was the paperwork marriage, which makes it important. Meaning the black man was going to get the paperwork to actually marry his woman. 76.4%. Next slide. Between the 1960 and 64, blacks will rise in the professional high level positions at a greater rate than the 5 years following the passage of the Civil Rights Act. Civil rights was supposed to liberate black people all the way and bring us into the fold. In 1980, remember the numbers I gave, 31% of all black firstborn children were born to teenage mothers. Now in the 60s, it was decreasing. In the 80s, it was rising. That's why I played that video of the teenage girls. And by 1992, 54% of all black children were living only with their mothers. This is what the feminist movement calls. This is what the civil rights movement calls. This is what the CIA put in a system because, of course, today I'm talking about the liberation of black women. But you have to also take into accountability the drug epidemic that also came up. You understand? This ain't about the black men today. So any of y'all getting y'all questions lined up because I ain't addressing black men, that's not today. We got to get out of that notion that if we talk about black women, we got to talk about black men. Because when we talk about black men, don't nobody say I got to talk about black women. Right. So now, in 2009, 73% of black children were born to unmarried mothers. We went from 73% of black men and women being married to 73% of black children being born to unmarried mothers. And you can thank that for that. In First Ezra's in the Apocrypha 8 and 85, it says, moreover, we should never seek to have peace with them. What does it mean to have peace? Meaning trying to get peace treaties with a white man is insanity to me. Ask the Native Indians how them peace treaties work. Right. Over 178 peace treaties? How many did the white man keep? Who knows? Not one. Not one treaty did the white man think it was worthy enough to keep with the Native Indian, but in 2017, we think we're going to come to the point where it's going to work out. It's never going to work out. And it says we should seek to have peace that we may be strong. So look at the numbers. And I think I got some more after this. But look at the numbers. Before civil rights and before we integrated, we were 74% married. After integration, we 73% of black children were born to unmarried mothers. By 92, 54% of all black children was only living with their mothers. Now imagine if we would have stayed separated from the white man. This ain't just a U.P.K. thing. This is a God thing. The Most High wants us to be separated from that. Go to the next slide. This is how they portray men in the media. Now, I got all this off of 2 movies. For Colored Girls, no, 3 movies. For Colored Girls, Color Purple, and Waiting to Exhale. These are the only bottom lines that they deal with, for the most part. Now, you're going to probably give me the 2 movies with Denzel doing something good. But for the most part, they got us portrayed as a rapist. They got us portrayed as a rapist, the abusive crazy man, the liar, the brother on the down low, child molester, a pimp, the non-existent baby daddy, and the drug dealer. One of these is what your average black man is playing in the movie. Unless he killing for the white man or something like that. You gonna say something? Oh, how could I forget the last one? Homosexual. So I forget that one. This is paramount today. This is paramount. What was that movie, Moonlight? I've only heard of it. I refuse. When they told me, and just imagine what they portraying. If I'm not mistaken, that's a black father sleeping with his son. Am I correct? No. What is the movie Moonlight? It wasn't a father and son? No. Oh, that's a YouTube video. A YouTube movie, rather. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. The YouTube movie was about a father. And was there any homosexuality in it? Yeah. They got an award. They got an Oscar. When I see the white man give an Oscar to niggas, excuse my language. When I see the white man give an award, just think about it. When they give an Oscar to Denzel, what did he have to play? The drug dealer. The cop drug dealer at that. Monsters Ball, do I really got to go into that?
Oh, I didn't.
Monsters Ball is one of the most heinous movies I've ever seen. Halle Berry. Before Monsters Ball, Halle Berry was the bomb to everybody. Everybody liked Halle Berry. It was in the rap songs, all of that. After Monsters Ball, how Jada can say why a white man have to pop her to get an Oscar. And then they had the nastiest devil. Billy Bob Thornton, the nastiest devil. And if you think about the state that they put that black woman in, goes into the miseducation. That Billy Bob Thornton worked at the prison that she was going to see her husband who was in jail. So where was her husband at? In prison. Right? Now, the guard is now sleeping with his woman. Now imagine when the man in jail finds that out. Bad enough being in jail, now he's going to see the guard every day that's sleeping with his woman. That's what you have to do in America. That's what they push. The homosexual, Tyler Perry is a good example of that. Right. I remember my daughter came in the house one day and she was like, Daddy, I saw this movie with this mama, with this old grand lady, and she was sassy. It was funny as I said, well, what was it? She said, my dear's final reunion, my face froze. And I said to her, do you know that was a man? That's all I said. She said, who? I said, the grandmother. And her eyes looked like they went in the back of her head. She never mentioned it to me again. You know, now imagine those that don't know, or even if they do know and their parents encourage that. What is that encouraging? For homosexuality to run rampant. Right. You can get rich if you're a homo. You can do all that. Or if you get down with white folk. Give me the next slide.